Hey guys, Dekin from Team Crimson here, and today we're going to be talking about D Booster Set 1, Genesis of the Five Greats, specifically the Stoichea reveals. So for those of you that do not know, we at Team Crimson have been doing a thing with the Genesis of the Five Great booster set where we are going over the nation reveals instead of talking about it all as a whole. We're going in-depth diving into the two decks. So this should be our fourth installment, and it is for Stoichea. Again, we will be going over the double rares and triple rares and then talking about the individual decks. So the first card we have to go over is Spurring Maiden Alania. Skill is auto when this unit is placed on rearguard circle from hand. Cost, Counterblast 1 and Soul Blast 1. Choose a grade 2 or less card from your drop zone, call it to rearguard circle, and it gets power plus 5k until end of that turn. So this card is really good for the Magnolia deck. You want to use it so that you can call it your combo pieces so that you can get power onto those dudes and so that you can swing for numbers. And she works and combos off very well with Admantis, the grade 1, that says on place rear guard, give one of your other units 5k. So it can just build, she can call him out as a 13k and then he can buff her by 5 and they can swing for 28. So super good, helps you get your combo pieces back. You can discard stuff and not have to necessarily worry about it because you can just call it right back. Then we have Inheritance Maiden Hedrenia, which is the second card, grade 2 as well. Skill auto, when this unit is placed on rearguard circle, you may discard 3 cards from the top of your deck. And then act, rearguard circle, cost, retire this unit until end of turn. The next time you would play an order as Alchemagic, you do not have to pay all Soul Blasts from that cost. So obviously it has the Grand Blue like milling, so you can get your orders into drop zone, so you can get some cards that you want to call back into drop zone. And then she helps because the deck Soul Blasts a lot with the Alchemagic. She helps reduce that Soul Blast cost to 0. So you just pay Counterblast costs, which you don't really care about because there's the countercharging grade 2 order that says kill 2 of your dudes, you countercharge, and you throw it to Soul. So those are the double rares, my bad. Now apologies for that, I had some technical interruptions. But getting into the triple rares for Stoichea, we have Sylvan Horn Beast, Unios Osla, it's the bear, grade 2, 10k, skill auto back row rearguard circle. When this unit attacks, cost Counterblast 1, choose one of your other rearguards, and it gets this unit's power until end of turn. And it's, in parentheses, says increases its power at the time. So this is really good for Magnolia. It allows you to pass all trigger effects and power buffs. You can use Alania to call him back as a 15k and just swing for 15 and give that 15k he has to another unit, allowing it to hit for numbers, which helps a lot with the number issue. It is a counterblast though, so the deck is highly reliant on counterblasts. But this card is amazing. One of the best cards in the deck, probably one of the best grade 2s. Then going on, we have Mysterious Rain Spiritualist Zorga, grade 3, Persona Ride, 13k, skill continuous Vanguard circle. When you would play a normal order, you can bind a normal order with a different card name from your drop and Alchemagic. You combine the costs and add the effect to the back. And second skill is act, Vanguard once per turn, cost, Counterblast 1, choose a card from your drop zone, call it to rearguard circle. So those of you that do not know, quick refresher on Alchemagic, you play an order from hand, you bind one from drop zone, and that bound one is gone, it's in your bind zone, and that order you played gets that bind order's effects. So if you're going to play the reviving order and bind the order that counterblast for 10k, you pay a counterblast and soul blast cost simultaneously, and then you will get the 10k buff to your front row, and you get to revive something with 5k. I will just talk about Zorgo real quick before I talk about Magnolia. I believe I'm the only one out of our group that was able to actually playtest the deck. So good thing I'm covering this. But this deck is very strong. it also has a lot of issues with the order aspect. Um, the best way that I've come to describe it is it's a weird mix between Bastion and Orphist, where it free pluses board, has really big columns and numbers, and is super threatening, especially if it goes first. But it has the clunkiness of orders, which is kind of like the grade 3 clunkiness of Bastion, where if you don't draw any shield value, you kind of die. So a lot of decks, and towards my playtesting, I also played the Ghost Chase order, so you can just call units like PGs and triggers through Zorga's effect or through other abilities to call back, and then you add that back to hand. Because the Ghost Chase order says Blitz order, grade 2, when you guard with it, you can choose a rear guard that is not being attacked and bounce it back to your hand. And one of your units gets 5k. So the deck is very explosive. It has, I've had anywhere from 25s to 38, 40 somethings on my first grade 3 turn swinging at face. It kind of just pops off if you have your stuff, and it pops off really well. However, like I was saying, it does have the insane drawback. Apologies again, technical difficulties. But like I was saying, they have a lot of orders they play. The deck plays anywhere from 10 to 13 orders, depending on how many you want to play. That's including the Ghost Chase Blitz order. So it has a lot of brick potential of no shield value. However, it can filter back PGs with Ghost Chase, so you can just filter PGs right back to your hand and discard those orders so you can Alchemagic, which is another useful way to use it. But it has a very, very high ceiling it can reach. But if you brick hard, and there is no recovery. But Magnolia is super good deck. It is a little dependent on the Persona Ride. I wouldn't say that's what makes or breaks your games. It just kind of pops off a lot harder. And if you do Persona Ride, and you can Persona Ride 2 times, 3 times, you will win the game because of that most times. In testing, there's been several times where I've been unable to Persona Ride and still won, and that's because it has the 4 attacks, and you can swing with the bear and just keep buffing up dudes with that. And you can also have your lattices, so that you have your 25k naturals swinging in the back row, and you play a couple of blitz orders in that and a couple of orders to revive. I noticed one of the main ones being the grade 1 that Soul Blast to revive something for 5k. Yeah, it's a Soul Blast cost, so it kind of hurts your lattices a little bit, and your Elenias, but you manage it, especially if you can Persona Ride, you can get that soul back. But the deck, what it has the most problems with is counterblasts. So that's something that's very easy to work around with, is the counterblasting. If you can damage deny them or starve them, they have no way to recover from that, and then they have 3 attacks, really small numbers. But it has very, very explosive potential. I know, especially in testing, there'd be sometimes on that first grade 3 turn, you're swinging, you hit hard, you push them to 4 or 5 damage. The next turn, if you have that Persona Ride, sometimes you don't even need it. You'll just murder them right there. But out of the 2, I would say that Magnolia is the better variant. It is just quicker, and yes, it has mainly combo pieces, so you don't want to discard a whole lot, but you also have the ability to fetch from drop zone playing Elenias, and you will want to play the grade 1 order, the soul one. I can't remember what it's called, but it's Soul Blast to revive with 5k. You want to play that. You want to play your Ghost Chase, and then you're good on your orders. So you'd be playing anywhere from, on the low end, 4, on the high end, 8 orders in deck, 4 of those being Blitz orders. So just a really good deck as whole. The mechanics of both of these decks are really interesting. I quite like it. Sadly, they are not representing the best for tops, but partially I believe that's because people haven't figured out how to play certain matchups with them yet. They've been on the hype train of Bastion and Barrow Magnus and Virenas and Snows to get a whole lot of testing in, I believe. But that's it from us here today at Team Crimson. Don't forget to leave your comments down below on your thoughts on these different variants of the decks. But yeah, we'll be bringing another installment. Should be the Dark States installment, I believe, is the only one we haven't done yet. So once we can get Zach on that video, then we'll be bringing that to you guys, and that'll complete our Genesis of the 5 Greats review. So yeah, don't forget to like and subscribe, and I'll see you guys later.